Have you ever heard a conspiracy theory so wild you thought, "No way, that's real"? Well, buckle up, because today we're diving into 10 conspiracies that sounded absolutely bonkers until they were proven true. You won't believe what governments and corporations have gotten away with. Let's start with a bang. Operation Mockingbird. Back in the Cold War era, people whispered that the CIA was secretly using journalists to spread propaganda. It sounded like a spy movie plot, right? But in the 1970s, congressional investigations, notably the Church Committee, revealed that the CIA had indeed cultivated relationships with hundreds of journalists and civic groups to influence public opinion both at home and abroad. They were planting stories, gathering intelligence, and shaping the news you read every day. The truth was stranger and a lot scarier than fiction. Next up, remember those grainy UFO videos the government always dismissed? For decades, anyone who claimed to see strange lights in the sky was labeled a crackpot. But in 2020, the Pentagon itself officially released 3 declassified videos taken by Navy pilots, showing what they termed unidentified aerial phenomena. These weren't just blurry dots. They were objects performing maneuvers that defy our current understanding of physics. The government now has an entire office dedicated to studying these UAPs. Suddenly, we are not alone. Doesn't sound so crazy, does it? Let's travel back to the Prohibition era. Speakeasies, mobsters, and a nationwide ban on alcohol. But did you know the government went a step further than just banning it? To scare people away from drinking illegal booze. The U.S. government intentionally poisoned industrial alcohols, which were often stolen by bootleggers and redistilled. They knew bootleggers were siphoning this supply, but they ordered companies to add toxic chemicals like methyl alcohol anyway. The result? Thousands of people died from this poisoned liquor. It was a deadly public health experiment hidden in plain sight. Okay, this next one sounds like something from a sci-fi dystopia. Ever heard of Project MKUltra? This was a top-secret, illegal CIA program started in the 1950s. The goal? Mind control? They conducted hundreds of experiments on unwitting American and Canadian citizens, trying to develop techniques to control human behavior. They used everything from hypnosis and sensory deprivation to administering psychoactive drugs, often without the subject's knowledge or consent. It was a massive, terrifying operation that only came to light after years of investigation and document dumps. The Manchurian Candidate wasn't just a movie. It was a government objective. Here's one that hits close to home for many. For years, the tobacco industry publicly denied that smoking was addictive or caused cancer. They spent millions on advertising and even had doctors promoting cigarettes. It seemed like a conspiracy that big tobacco was lying to everyone, and they were. In the 1990s, internal documents were leaked, proving that these companies knew about the dangers and addictive nature of nicotine for decades. They deliberately hid the evidence to protect their profits. This conspiracy cost millions of lives and shattered public trust in corporate America. Now for something that will make you rethink your privacy. In 2013, a contractor named Edward Snowden blew the whistle on a massive global surveillance program run by the National Security Agency, or NSA. He revealed that the NSA was collecting the phone records of millions of Americans and tapping directly into the servers of major internet companies like Google and Facebook, monitoring emails, videos, and photos. Before Snowden, the idea that the government was watching your every move online was just a paranoid fantasy. He proved it was the new reality. Let's talk about a dark chapter in medical history, the Tuskegee syphilis study. From 1932 to 1972, the U.S. Public Health Service conducted a study on hundreds of African American men in Alabama who had syphilis. The men were told they were receiving free health care, but they were never actually treated for the disease, even after penicillin became the standard cure. Researchers wanted to observe the natural progression of the illness until death. It was a monstrous betrayal of trust and its exposure led to major changes in laws protecting human subjects in research. Have you heard of the Gulf of Tonkin incident? In 1964, President Lyndon B. Johnson told the nation that North Vietnamese forces had launched an unprovoked attack on American destroyers in the Gulf of Tonkin. This event was used to justify a massive escalation of the Vietnam War. For years, people questioned the official story. Decades later, declassified documents and NSA reports revealed that the second attack likely never even happened. It was a combination of bad weather, faulty equipment, and overager operators. A war that shaped a generation was expanded based on a phantom event. This next one sounds like a Hollywood plot twist. During the Iran-Contra affair in the mid-80s, rumors swirled that the Reagan administration was involved in a secret, illegal scheme. The truth was even more complicated and shocking. Senior officials secretly facilitated the sale of weapons to Iran, which was an embargoed nation, hoping to free American hostages. The money from those sales was then illegally funneled to fund the Contras, a right-wing rebel group in Nicaragua. It was a complex web of secret deals, directly violating acts of Congress and official U.S. policy. Finally, let's look at Operation Northwoods. In the early 1960s, the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff drafted and approved a plan to create a pretext for war with Cuba. What was the plan? To commit acts of terrorism against American citizens and military targets, and then blame it on the Cuban government. The proposals included sinking boats of Cuban refugees, staging violent riots, a coup, and even blowing up a U.S. ship in Guantanamo Bay. The plan was rejected by President John F. Kennedy. But the fact that it was seriously proposed and signed off on by the highest levels of the military is absolutely chilling. So, from secret mind control to government-sanctioned lies, history is filled with conspiracies that turned out to be terrifyingly true. It really makes you wonder what else is happening behind the curtain. What do you think is the craziest true conspiracy? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this dive into the rabbit hole, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more content that challenges what you think you know. See you next time.